How clarity comes only after you start walking the path in the forest. There's something both beautiful and terrifying about standing at the edge of a forest. You can see the first few steps of the trail, but beyond that, it's shadows and mystery. You don't know where it leads. You don't know what you'll find. And in life, so many of us stand at that edge, waiting for certainty before we move. We want a map. We want guarantees. We want to see the whole path before we take the first step. But here's the truth. The path only reveals itself once you start walking. Part 1. The myth of perfect clarity. We live in a world obsessed with planning. We want to know every detail before committing. Which job will be perfect? Which relationship will work forever? Which choice will guarantee success? But life is not a glass window, it's a foggy forest. You can only see what's just ahead, and the rest becomes clear as you move. If you wait for the whole route to be visible, you might spend your whole life standing at the trailhead. Example: I once met a young woman who wanted to become a travel photographer. She told me, "I'm waiting until I can save enough money, have the perfect camera, and be sure I'll succeed." 5 years later, she was still waiting. Then one day, she finally decided to just take her phone, book the cheapest bus ticket, and photograph whatever she found. That first trip wasn't perfect, but it led to her first published work, which led to connections, which led to assignments. She told me later, "If I'd waited for perfect clarity, I'd still be standing on the edge of the forest." Part 2. Why we fear stepping in. It's not laziness that keeps most of us stuck. It's fear. Fear of failure, fear of wasting time, fear of making the wrong turn. We tell ourselves, "I'll start when I'm ready." But readiness is often just another word for stalling. You can't know how the path feels under your feet until you take the first step. Part 3. The nature of walking into the unknown. Think of life like hiking through a forest. The first steps are awkward. You are adjusting, learning where to place your feet. Then you start to notice details: the smell of pine, the sound of leaves, the way sunlight filters through branches. Only after moving do you start to see where the trail bends and where it leads. Clarity is not a starting point. It's a result of movement. Example: the two friends at the fork. Two friends stood at a fork in the trail. One said, "Let's pick a direction and see where it goes." The other said, "Let's wait until we can see the end." Years later, the first friend had walked many paths, some beautiful, some difficult, and found destinations he never imagined. The second friend was still standing at the same fork, waiting for a view that would never come. Life rarely gives us a view of the ending from the beginning. You discover it by living it. Part 4. Reflection. Pause. I want you to think about one area in your life right now where you're standing at the edge, waiting. Is it a career move, a relationship, a creative project, a personal change? Ask yourself, what's the very first step I could take without knowing the whole path? What's the smallest possible movement forward I can make today? Part 5. How clarity grows while walking. When you take the first steps, you gather real information. Plans stop being theory and start being reality. You learn what works and what doesn't. You adjust direction. You may start walking north, but discover east is where the light is. Clarity isn't a lightning bolt, it's a slow dawn. Step by step, the forest becomes less of a mystery. A man wanted to start writing music, but didn't know what style he should choose. He spent years researching genres, comparing artists, analyzing trends. One day, a friend said, "Just write something. You'll figure out your style by doing, not thinking." So he started. His first songs were messy, inconsistent. But over time, his true voice emerged. It wasn't in any of the genres he researched, it was his own. You can't discover your unique trail from a map. You find it by walking. Part 6. Practical steps to start walking. Here's how to step into your own forest without getting lost. 1. Accept partial light. You only need to see the next few steps, not the whole path. 2. Take small, low-risk steps. Don't leap blindly, but don't stay frozen either. One small move is enough to start. 3. Gather clues from each step. Pay attention to what feels right, what drains you, what excites you. 4. Expect the path to change. You may find shortcuts, detours, or completely new trails. That's part of the journey. 5. Trust the process. Movement is the teacher. Action is the map maker. Part 7. The mist and the morning. Walking into the unknown is like walking through morning mist. At first, everything is blurry. But as you keep moving, the mist thins, and shapes begin to appear. You can only see the landscape after you've already entered it. Conclusion. Step in. If you're standing at the edge, waiting for certainty, you might wait your whole life. The forest will not reveal itself to those who never enter. Clarity doesn't come before the step. It comes because of the step. So, take it. Not because you know exactly where you're going, but because the path will only speak to those who walk it.